Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm here for Mercy Tiara Kits, and I'm going to be creating a 12 by 12 layout featuring the May 2024 release called Bloom. This kit combines products from Pebbles, Carta Bella, Echo Park Paper, and more. Here is my narrowed down selection, mostly from the Pebbles Sunny Blooms collection, but there is a bit from Echo Park Papers telling our story. I'm also going to be using the exclusive sequin mix that came in the main kit. You can find information and inspiration for the Mercy Tiara Bloom Kit on their website, Instagram, and on Facebook. And I will put a bunch of links below. So let's get started. Here's what's on my desk. I have a 4x6 photo that's double matted of me in 1975. I also cut myself a heart. I did that with a pair of scissors and a piece of ledger paper from my stash, and I'll talk about that later on in the process. For my printed papers, I selected 3 from the main kit, and they are all from the Pebbles Sunny Blooms collection, and I also have a piece of 12 by 12 white cardstock. In my embellishment tray, I do have a bunch of embellishments, and these basically come from the main kit and the embellishment add-on. I kind of narrowed down my selection. I do narrow it down a little bit more later in the process. I'm showing you I have ephemera packs, puffy stickers, cut-apart sheets, foam titles, more, and I will talk about all of these embellishments later on when I actually embellish my page. Now, I also want to show you the sequin mix I will be using. Often the Mercy Tiara kits come with an exclusive sequin pack that matches. That is the one for Bloom, and I plan to do a little technique with that later on in the process. What I want to do right now is cut up a bit of paper. Basically, I'm going to create a very simple border that I'm going to place on the right-hand side of my page. And I'm cutting up 3 different pattern papers in 3 different sizes, and I will put measurements on the screen for all of this a bit later on when I actually place them on my page. And what I want to do right now is just add a bit of ink to all of these papers. So the ink I'm using is Seaside Spray from Stampin' Up! The color, I selected it from the Mercy Tiara Kit newsletter. That's what you see in the top right corner. That newsletter comes with the kits, and in it there is a color palette for the entire kit. At the beginning of the month, I selected all of the inks that I had that matched that color palette, and I used one of those to ink my papers. Now what you see me doing is placing all of these borders on the left-hand side. I'm sorry, it's on the right-hand side of the page, and it basically takes up about half of the page. My plan is to place my photo directly on top of it, and I'm going to place the heart behind it, kind of on an angle. Now, what I want to do is show you how I made that heart. It was really pretty simple. Basically, I cut it out from this piece of ledger paper. That's an old paper from Paige Evans from an older travel collection. The flip side was pink with flowers. What I did was I took a piece of copy paper, folded it in half, drew half a heart, cut that out with scissors, and then you're going to see in a moment I have my cutout heart already there. I unfolded it, and basically I had a nice symmetrical heart. What I do with that heart is I put it on top of that ledger paper. I already did that, and I traced around it with pencil, then I cut it out with scissors. Now my heart isn't perfect, and that's no big deal because all around the edges I am going to be covering it in sequins, and I will do that a little bit later on in the process. What I'm going to do right now is adhere these 3 strips on the right-hand side of the page, and I will also adhere the heart. So, like I mentioned earlier, this border takes up about half the page. So, that strawberry paper that I'm adhering right now, it lands at about the 6-inch mark on that white cardstock. That smaller pink lined paper, I'm overlapping the 2 bigger borders and basically just bringing it down a bit from the top edge of the paper just to make it different than the other two. Now I'm adhering the heart, but I'm not going to adhere my photo right away because I want to put my sequins around that heart. What you see me doing right now is just marking pencil lines at the top and bottom of the photos because I'm not going to put sequins where the photo will be covering. And what I'm going to do is kind of work in chunks. You see me putting liquid adhesive on about 3 or 4 inches around the edge of the heart. Now what I'm doing with that little picker-upper tool, which is from We Are Memory Keepers, mine came from the Mercy Tiara Kits shop. There is an essential section and it's there, and it's perfect for using sequins. So basically what I'm doing is picking up my sequins and putting them on my liquid adhesive. I'm not doing any real pattern. I'm just picking up whatever sequin sticks to my little stick and putting it down. The only ones I was avoiding was the little blue ones. There's like little blue daisies. They are adorable. What I did was once I had my line of sequins, I added a bit of adhesive on top of the sequins and added those blue daisies. And as you can see, I continued that process until I did the entire outline of the heart. And it's absolutely adorable. I love it. And you can also see I did my journaling. I do want to point out that I ended up adding a few blue sequins to the heart that weren't in the sequin mix. There were tiny blue daisies that were adorable and I really loved them. And because of the blue paper in that strawberry paper, I thought it would be nice to have a few more blue sequins. So I picked myself out an older Mercy Tiara Kit sequin mix that had blue in it, and I just added a few blue in and around that heart. Now I want to talk about my journaling. You can see I did it in advance. I basically wrote it on the computer. I composed it on the computer. Then I wrote it in pencil in that heart. I really didn't want to mess up my sequin heart because I loved it. So once I made sure the spacing was okay, I did have to edit a bit of what I originally wrote on the computer. Anyway, I wrote it down on pencil, and once I fit it, then I took a marker, wrote on top of it, then I erased the pencil writing on the page. So that worked well, and I'm showing you the title. So I showed you a moment ago I had 2 title options, and they came from this Thickers phrase sticker sheet. That is from the Sunny Blooms collection. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. Now I'm showing you the other embellishments. So I have 2 doilies. The bigger one came from the main kit. There were 2 in the main kit, but I used the other one already, so I found another one in my stash. I am showing you that I selected some other ephemera pieces. Basically, I selected ephemera pieces from 2 different Pebbles ephemera packs, and I was going by color, basically the blues, the pinks, and the yellows, and I was selecting a variety in sizes. Now, this is a photo of me in the summertime at my home, and this collection, this Pebbles collection, lends really well to that theme because it's very homey, it's very summery or springy, so all of that was no problem at all. I'm showing you that I have a handful of chipboard pieces. That is from the Echo Park Papers Telling Our Story collection. Also on my desk I had these puppy stickers, again from the Pebbles Sunny Blooms collection. So what I'm going to do is start building clusters, and I'm going to build them in the top left of the photo and the bottom right. And if you look at my journaling, I knew I would be placing a cluster there. That's why I wrote my journaling with a little bit of space to the left of where the photo is being placed, towards the top of that. So I'm placing the 2 doilies. That's basically going to serve as embellishment cluster bases. Also, now I'm showing you that I have some punched out flowers. Now I did that off camera as well. I have 2 really old punches from EK Success. They are basically funky flowers in 2 different sizes. I punched out a bunch of them in white cardstock, and for the centers I used 2 different circle punches, and the paper I used was that yellow paper that you see on my foundation page. So I have a handful of daisies as well. And now what I'm going to do is start building my clusters. Now, basically, the base of my clusters is going to be those doilies and the daisies. And I often do this when I build embellishment clusters. I start by creating a base layer that basically repeats itself. And in my case, I'm using doilies and daisies. They are identical. After that, I just keep adding to it. And you can see I'm adding ephemera pieces at the bottom. I have that pink watering can with flowers. At the top, I have that yellow sun. Now I just tucked in a tag above the photo. So I'm kind of going back and forth. And what I'm doing here is not making them identical anymore. What I'm doing is basically repeating color. In my case, I'm making sure that there's pink, yellow, and blue in each one of the clusters. So I'm going back and forth and doing that. I do plan to put my title towards the bottom of that photo. I'm still not quite sure which title I'm going to use it, but it does end up being Joy. I have two that I could possibly choose from, and both of them I selected because they're kind of this lovely ombre rainbow effect on the letters, and I really, really liked it. Now I've moved ahead to adhering the embellishment clusters down. So I started with those two doilies and the tag. Then what I will do is put my photo on top of it. You're going to see when I am adhering these embellishments, I am using the layers that are already on the page. You're going to see I put one daisy behind my photo, then the next one kind of overlaps the photo. So it's true at the top as well. I really like to work with the layers that are already on my page at this point when I'm adhering my embellishments, just because it adds a lot of dimension and texture. You can see towards the bottom as well, I adhered a chipboard book. It's like an open book. That comes from Echo Park Papers Telling Our Story collection. That collection works really well with this Pebbles collection. It's nicely coordinated, this bloom kit. I absolutely love it. Now you can see I've moved to the top left corner. I am adhering all of those embellishments as well. Also working with the layers. That sun, I am popping it up on foam adhesive. Now you can see me at the bottom again. What I ended up doing was moving that book with the word Joy on it a little bit towards the bottom there. It's just that I felt it was covering up too much, that watering can. And if I didn't mention it, you can see I did end up with the word Joy, and I ended up adhering it directly on top of that book. And I really actually like how that looks. Now what you see me doing is trying to expand that cluster at the bottom a little bit more. So I'm tucking in some smaller flowers, basically coming out from underneath that book. And what I also ended up doing is putting a little blue flower just above that pink watering can. I end up adding a little blue flower to the top cluster as well, beside the sun. Now you see me coming in with some more sequins. So all I'm doing here is putting a sprinkling of sequins in that bottom cluster. The sequins I'm selecting are all identical. They're all pink, and that sequin mix has these pink sequins that they look almost like a pie plate. They're like indented or embossed. They're super, super cute. So all I'm doing is using my little pickup tool with a bit of liquid adhesive, and I adhere those down. And then what I will do is get out those puppy stickers again from the Pebbles collection. And from that, I end up just tucking in a little flower grouping up behind the word Joy. But basically, that is it. My page is done. And all I did off camera was add twine to the tag and a second layer of sequins to the pink ones that I sprinkled on the page at the end. So now there are tiny yellow sequins on top of each one of the pink ones. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be honored and thrilled if you did. And if you are a subscriber, thank you very, very much. Make sure you check out the Mercy Tiara Kits shop, Instagram, and Facebook page. And again, there are a bunch of links below. Take care, and I will see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.